close.
Sponsored by... so we have Sultai Control versus...
Grixis Death Shadow.
Herdy McEdgelord.
My favorite deck. My pet deck.
No. Herdy McEdgelord's your pet deck? I thought GDS was your pet deck.
They can be both. I pet everybody's decks. I mean... don't ban me, Twitch.
I was like, it's okay. This is why this stream is 18. This is for mature audiences.
So the difference here is in the main board of my deck.
Mm-hmm.
The Jace Burns Prodigy is now a Drown the Lock. I'm testing that out. I'm not a huge fan.
I know your sideboard's also different because it doesn't give me an updated list.
The sideboard, I dropped those Ceremonies Rejections for Mystical Disputes, and then the Ashiok is something else. What is Ashiok? What did that turn into? It's in a Braid, that's right. Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah, Braid was always good. It's just a generically decent card all around. It's not like oppressive or like insane in some matchups.
I don't know who actually has the advantage in this matchup because
game one definitely him.
Okay.
Yeah. He immediately counters the turn one Thoughtseize. And it's normally I'm not for that because you're 2-for-1ing yourself to counter a hand disruption spell, but he's exiling the
spell snare, which is just awful against you. It hits
not dead, but only
awful.
hits 5 cards.
That's what
in
I'm
my
saying.
deck.
Like awful,
pretty bad, pretty gosh dang bad. And something that I didn't notice immediately that we did catch is that the when you exile a card and cast...
Oh, yeah, the card is exiled,
yeah,
yes.
you exile the spell that you counter
the non-creature spell,
with the Force of Negation. And I didn't catch it immediately, but when I went to delve for the Angler that I'm about to play, I was like, hold up, something doesn't seem right here. I played something wrong. What hold up. Yeah. And then like, oh yeah, this is what happened. Yeah. And that definitely does alter the line of play. Because
you still have enough to delve though, right? You have... So, okay, no, you'd have to tap out to delve.
Yeah, and I was not willing to tap out at this point.
For an Angler?
No, because I had a hand disruption in hand. I had Stubborn Denial, Stubborn Denial, Inquisition, Shadow, Angler, and so if I just tap out to play an Angler, he can untap, play Oko, and then I'm just like completely destroyed. And like that is so much harder to come back from. But I can take a turn off to look at his hand with the Inquisition, and then next turn play the Angler and leave up Stub or play a Shadow.
So my thing is that, like, because you know Patrick's playing Sultai Control, like, what would he have that would? I guess you'd have to be afraid of the Assassin's Trophy, because Drown the Lock doesn't stop it.
Yeah,
because you're exiled. Yeah. Because you delved. Abrupt Decay doesn't stop it.
This is. It's just playing around the chance that he has Oko in his hand, and that's why he free casted his Force. Or, if he just untaps and plays Assassin's Trophy, then the Stubborn Denial in my hand really didn't do anything. And I'm not at a low enough life total yet to fully utilize the Stubborn Denial. It's, the hand is, it is a Thoughtseize. It's Thoughtseize, Shadow, Stubborn Denial, and I think a Dismember or a Fatal Push, one or the other. But we kind of went back and like, I would not actually want to cast Angler.
Pretty McEdgelord being a cheating McEdgelord right now.
And so we kind of talked about it like, that changes my line of play. And he was like, that changes my line of play with what I want to fetch. It's like, okay, what if I just wanted to Inquisition you? And he's like, I didn't have any responses to that. And then he reveals the hand. There is an Oko. And which was what I was playing around, but I still took the push because I've got the Shadow in hand, and if he goes to try to play Oko on turn 3, then the Stubborn Denial in my hand beats that. So it's a bit confusing, but
you kids,
the burden is on Patrick to remember that his Force Negation exiles the spell that gets countered, and it's also on me to maintain board state because it does affect my pace of play and what I'm doing. Yeah. So it was just kind of overall, we both should have caught it. Neither of us did, and it kind of altered the way things were going to go. But we caught it early enough that it didn't really change that much.
I guess my question is, like, when you Inquisitioned him, and you saw I had Oko Fatal Push, why wouldn't you just discard the Oko and then cast Gurmag that turn?
Because I had Shadow in hand, so I can take a turn off. I'm fine playing for the late game in this
Okay.
matchup, um, especially when he's like resource light at this point. It's better just secure your threats rather than just try to push him out as fast as possible and see if he has removal. You kind of want to play it a bit more slow paced and somewhat tactical in game one.
Yeah.
So I think it's just better to look at the hand, take the push, have the Oko answered, and at the end of this play, at the end of everything, he did draw a Fatal Push, which answers the Shadow. But at the end of everything, I would have had Shadow in play, Gurmag Angler in play, and an answer for the
Why
Oko.
didn't you save the Shadow with the Stubborn Denial?
Because he's got Oko.
He doesn't have Oko. Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Because if he follows up with Oko and do Shadow Gurmag Angler, it doesn't destroy me. It doesn't make me lose. But
I got you. Okay.
it's much better for him in the long term. And I was kind of playing for the late game.
Tall Drown in the Shadow seems real good.
Yeah, definitely. There's a Drown in the lock. Stubborn Denial because I drew a second Stubborn Denial.
Yeah.
Which is like actually brutal. My draws here were really good.
Yeah, they were.
He's kind of looking. He's like, you just used Stubborn Denial that you've been clearly leaving up. He's got Drown, but that only answers the Shadow. So he goes to Drown. I'm like looking at the amount of power I have in play. It's actually 11 power. I know he's only got
power.
one card in hand. I'm at 7. Death Shadow's a 6/6.
Sorry, I thought you had two. I was like, no, you're right, because he pushed one.
I know his only other card in his hand is the Oko. And I
Yeah.
asked him like, how many cards in your hand? He's like, 1. Well, I got 11 power in play, so let's stub that.
Yeah.
And it was a fetch land anyway.
Yeah, so it's like, it still got it. All right. Yeah, I was like, this match seems very 50-50 for you because, like, Sultai does play a lot of just removal. In the fact of, like, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophies, Drown the Lux, and Oko.
Yeah, push, Abrupt Decay, Trophy, Drown.
There is no hand disruption, though.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be playing hand disruption, though. Like, you're playing for the late game in Sultai control, and the hand disruption just gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And you want to be playing spells that are either versatile or providing you 2-for-1s, and all of his spells are just that.
Yeah.
Like, every single one of his spells is either a 2-for-1 or, just like cantrips through, or is just decent.
Yeah.
Like, the only removal spells that he has that's actually narrow is the Fatal Pushes and the Abrupt Decay. And still, that's just, like,
That's fine.
generic removal in the format. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure he just brings in Veil of Summer.
Yep, Veil is great.
Plague and Snare is fine.
It's fine. So is the Damnation. It's also fine.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, because the Plague Engineer, the biggest thing is it's a Death Toucher.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're probably siding out...
I take out all my removal.
Yeah, you're taking your removal, so it's just like...
You can see every single Fatal Push, both Dismembers, both TBRs, and...
TBR,
two
really?
Positions. Yeah. Because, you don't leave in TBR against removal heavy decks. Like
Okay.
against Jund, against Blue White Control, against
Because
decks
if,
like
if
this.
you go all in, you just get super punished.
Yeah.
Okay. That
They
makes
always
sense.
they always assume you still have it though. Like, no, I took those out. I don't want to
I
get
mean,
blown out.
you kind of have to assume like they would have one. But I mean, since you guys now play Scions, I guess that's kind of your effective third copy.
Yeah,
So I
Scion
think-
stays in.
Yeah, so that's what we should be more afraid of than that. Makes sense.
I took out 10 cards.
Jeez.
I actually ended up putting the Inquisitions back in because I think the Inquisition is better than Collective Brutality in this matchup. Because Inquisition hits Oko and Snapcaster Mage.
Well, I
And
mean,
it
not
doesn't-
from
it
the
doesn't-
hand. It doesn't
yeah.
Snapcast mates from the hand, but it does kill on the board. Yes.
No, Inquisition over Brutality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say because brutality doesn't hit
It doesn't-
Snapcaster from the hand.
It doesn't hit Snapcaster, it doesn't hit Oko, it doesn't
Right.
hit Jace. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not really much better. Like, Inquisition doesn't hit Jace or Cryptic, but I think it's more important to hit Snap and Oko.
Surprised Patrick isn't playing like, like a Vraska.
Or like any manlands. You'd think there'd be like a singleton creeping tar pit or something like that.
Yeah, I mean hissing Quagmire would also be fine because again, Death Toucher.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
The other one's hexproof and it's a 3/3 for 4 to activate.
yeah, I don't. I mean, you want the evasion or the tradability.
Yeah.
But no, like so, like 5-drop Vraska, right? Because you can just down tick and destroy a non-land permanent. The 5-drop one.
4-drop Nebraska.
No, the 4-drop one's from the new set. That's at abrupt decay is 3 or less. The
Yeah.
5-drop one from the Return of Ravnica is any non-land permanent on the down tick. Like her uptick isn't really good though, because if a creature damages her, then they die. But so her uptick isn't good. But like using that,
if you're gonna spend 5 mana, why not just play original 5 mana? Who's the demon guy? The demon planeswalker.
Obnixilus.
Yeah, draws you a card, destroys a creature.
Yeah, you lose life though, and like the plus side with the Vraska is that
Play an
it's
Oko.
yeah, but I'm saying, but like the plus side with Vraska is it's any non-land permanent.
Yeah, I mulligan.
Just,
Had a hand that was like mostly lands.
I'm gonna have to go back and on Friday fix the freaking glare because the goddamn D&D group.
Those other nerds using their other Wizards of the Coast licensed product.
Yeah,
How dare they?
just leave the table where it is.
That just means that look like Bane in the bottom corner of his playmat. It's giving me like Bane vibes.
Looks more like Bullseye. It's got that thing on his head.
Bullseye. Isn't that Target? No, it is Bullseye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that movie is terrible. The what's that stupid dumb actor? I'm blanking.
They're playing the main character or the villain?
Playing Daredevil. Who's that?
Affleck.
Yeah, guys, dumb Ben Affleck is Daredevil. And then the girl playing Elektra is also super terrible. Like, both of the leads are just the worst people ever, but the villains are so fun to watch. Like, the guy playing Kingpin and then the guy playing Bullseye are just, like, having the time of their life. And Ben Affleck's just crying. I'm mulligan to 5.
I was like, bubble yourself, pay 2 for a Street Wraith, fetch shock.
Yeah.
Thoughtseize?
Yeah.
Alright.
Pretty good opener for a mulligan to 5. But looking at the hand, it's like, oh, well, there's Drown, there's Push, there's Cryptic Command. Yikes. It's a lot to get through.
And an opt.
2 removal spells, 2 counter spells. It's like, oh, well.
I mean, it's a pseudo counter spell. Like, if you delve...
Yeah. It's really good against me.
That's true. I pointed out, like, if Patrick wanted to run trackers with the 4-drop Vraska, you can stack the clues, draw a card, and tracker still gets a counter.
Yeah, I've seen that in Jund before, but I think with the Sultai control deck, they're just trying to be pure instant speed. And what Patrick is doing differently in his Sultai deck is he's playing Oko, whereas the other Sultai control decks that were similar to this shell that he based this version on were playing is it Into the Story, the discounted
they were trying Into the Story, and that card's just super clunky. Was the issue? This is the issue that I think Sam Black was trying it out, and that was like the rest of the deck was fine, but that card was just very clunky in that deck.
Yeah, I like Oko in general. It's just gains you life and helps you close out, like win the game. It's I mean, like 3 mana in a control deck is pretty low to invest into a win condition.
Yes,
and it's not as vulnerable as something like Tracker would be.
So it's like, did he top draw?
But Tracker draws you more cards.
Apparently not.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure on my side of the things. I'm just trying to figure out like what's my best opening to try to get anything in here. Kind of thought scar myself. Oh yeah.
It probably means you have a Gurmag Angler. God, that glare is so
it's pretty bad.
Like it didn't used to be like that. Now it's like now everything's moved again. It's like ugh.
And I try to play a Scions, because I took the Drown the Lock in his hand. So I'm like, this is probably my best opportunity to get back into this game.
And he's like,
and
hard cast.
Yeah, the hard cast.
Did you
Force
exile it,
Negation.
Liam? No, you did not. You put it in the graveyard again.
No, because he hard cast it.
Even if you hard cast it.
No, it's only when you pay the alternate cost.
It's not.
Look it up. I believe it's only when you pay the alternate cost.
What's the bet, Liam?
It's only when you pay the alternate cost,
what's the
or
bet?
it's only when you cast it on your opponent's turn.
If I'm correct, you have to wear a Tron shirt next stream.
Okay, whatever. I played Tron. Oh no, I believe it's only when you pay its alternate cost. Wait, what do I get if I'm right from you?
Target if a spell is correct, can sway exile instead of putting someone to graveyard. It doesn't matter.
Okay. If it's not your turn, exile a blue card from your hand rather than paying this mana cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Counter non-creature spell. The spell's counted this way, exile instead of putting someone's graveyard.
Okay.
Suck it, Liam. Learn the blue cards. I completely missed what Patrick has happened now.
Yeah.
So puts force negation on top. Okay.
The point is, I chose to cast Scions there because I knew he had Cryptic Command in his hand, and so my window of opportunity to try to play it was when I knew he didn't have Drown the Lock in his hand.
And so it looked like he fetched, got a Mystical Sanctuary to put Drown Lock on top, drew it, played the second Mystical Sanctuary to put Force Negation on top.
Yeah.
So you're in a real bad spot right now.
Yeah, I've got like Gurmag Shadow in
You're
hand.
You're just like trying to eat your Doritos in peace. He's like, no, play the game.
Hard cast this Street Wraith. Do something.
I mean, at that point, I think you just fire off a Drown Lock.
Yeah, you think he Cryptic Commands.
I would
just counter draw.
I mean, you're tapping out, so I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get cards out of his hand. Like,
yeah,
if Street Wraith resolves, woohoo, great.
Yeah, you're just like, sweet, now you're on a clock.
Yeah, it's gonna get killed anyway. I'm just trying to trade your card for this bad card, please.
Street Wraith is not a bad card.
It's great. It's great in the deck. It's free in the deck. It's like you get to put a card in your graveyard for your Gurmag Angler. You get to pay 2 life to reduce the reduce the amount of time it takes for you to cast Shadow.
It's like Death Shadow.
Death Shadow. All right, other Death Shadow. Okay.
Sure.
Go ahead. They're both dead.
Are they? I mean, you know of one Drown the Lock. It's like push.
Yep.
Drown.
Yeah. The hand is Gurmag Angler land.
And it's like, I think it's going to fetch for the 3rd Mystic Sanctuary and then put like Cryptic back on top or Drown.
Yeah. So I was really at this point, I'm casting the Shadows first because the Gurmag Angler is a much better threat when things go forward because there's less removal spells that he has that kill it. But it's
it is a soft lock, but the problem is that Patrick also needs to find a way to win the game.
Yeah.
And so like this, where like having like a Creeping Tar Pit or the Hissing Quagmire, something you can just kind of like chunk in with.
Yeah. I'm just kind of waiting to see if I can find an opportunity to actually resolve a permanent that matters.
Ooh, that's an Oko. All right, so now Patrick, but he knows about the Drown the Lock.
Yeah. I get it, Patrick. You're winning. So he plays the Oko, and at this point, I'm like, okay, well now I actually have to try to make something happen, or it's over.
Yeah. So. Now you have to be the tryhard.
Yeah. All right. Well, Inquisition, you.
Force of negation. Send a message.
He's thinking about it. He's like, okay, you can look. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. We're done here.
He was like, okay, we're done here.
I wasn't going to concede that game until he found a way to win. And then once the Oko came down, I was like, all right, well, let's see what you got.
Let's see how bad this is. You're like, oh, okay, it's bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
you have much turns to.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Whatever removal spell you take and cast a creature, he just goes, cool, untap, like either Assassin's Trophy or Drown Lock, whatever creature you just played.
Yeah.
Or it's a 3/3 elk. Congrats.
Yeah.
Cryptic Command.
I mean, presumably, if we just keep passing back and forth, I can, like.
You can eventually get there because your stuff is going to be cheaper.
No, like eventually we can both drop to 7 cards and then start interacting from that point. And maybe I can get something through with just how relatively cheap my cards are, but most likely the amount of 2-for-1s that Patrick has are just going to beat that anyway. I was like, all right, we'll pretend that this game is real until you show me a way to win. I had a very powerful opener. It just the Royal Scions getting countered on turn three, I think, is really what sort of locked that game completely out of being realistic on my side. So there's a turn one fetch land from both players, not really doing anything. Mm-hmm. Fetch shocking in general in Shadow is pretty much what you want to be doing. There's very few matchups where you're fetching for a tapped shock land on your opponent's end step, and those few matchups are like burned. There's a Thought Scour on end step. There is a fetch land in hand that's a guaranteed turn 2 Gurmag Angler. There's 2 life to cycle Street Wraith. Go to 15. Now fetch land makes Gurmag Angler cost 1 and leaves up Stubborn Nile if that's in the hand.
I will say, I feel like Death Shadow is probably the most mana efficient deck.
Unless you count Tron lands as being mana efficient. And
no,
then Tron kind of beats you.
Well, no, I count Tron as like mana acceleration. And that's but mana efficiency, right? Like you're able to just do all these powerful things on two mana, right? Like, boom, I have a 5/5 with counter backup on turn 2.
Yes.
Like Tron can't do that.
It's similar to Burn in that regard, where just like all of your spells are pretty good and they cost cheap.
And they cost cheap.
Shadow has a lot of synergy as well. Like there's a lot of just small things about Shadow that overall build up synergy in the deck that make it very good. Like Street Wraith fueling your graveyard, reducing your life total, making Gurmag Angler come out faster, Shadow come out faster, getting you through your deck a little bit further.
Thought Scour is like cantrip and also filling your graveyard for this.
Putting more stuff into your yard, which makes
Snapcaster
better too. Yeah. Take the 2-for-1 because the rest of his hand is 1-for-1s.
Okay.
He chose not to fetch and fire off the
Thought Scour?
No, he has Veil of Autumn in his hand. Oh, Veil of Summer. My bad. He's got Veil of Summer in his hand. He chose not to just fetch off and do it because if I have Stubborn Nile, then he doesn't really.
You didn't play the land first, though. You didn't play the land before.
No, I played the land first.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. I still think I would have done it though, because in that you're still effectively then he's forced him to 2-for-2.
Yeah.
And then you're tapped out. So then if then he's able to try and resolve.
You either do that or you wait until you're trying to actually resolve a removal spell.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that is the nice thing with Veil is granted it is narrow because it only stops. It only gives you hexproof.
No, it just gives you hexproof, but it only cantrips if your opponent casts a blue.
No, it only gives you hexproof from blue or black spells.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It only gives you hexproof from those 2 specific types, right? So
it is just 1 green cryptic command though.
Pseudo, yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, in certain matchups, it's definitely that.
All I'm saying is Deathmark doesn't draw me a card, and Deathmark's the worst card.
Yes.
Veil of Summer is really busted.
Yeah, and that's why I got banned.
Real good. Yeah.
Because oh man.
Remember when blue was the poster child for being the broken color, and now it's just suddenly green gets all the toys? Like Wizards overcorrecting heavily. It's kind of ridiculous.
Hey! It was a share between blue and green. All right.
No, blue black. It's always been the best colors.
Oh yeah. I mean, blue black or blue white because white's a very good support color.
Very early on, Sarah Angel was actually the best creature ever.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So, what?
It was Colgan's commanding.
Oh, okay. He opts, draws the card, and then okay.
Yeah.
I was very.
So what happened there is he had a tapped land already, and when he went to fetch, I Colgan's command to get a threat back from my graveyard and make him discard a card, so he couldn't Veil of Autumn in response.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when the window was open, I chose to do that.
Yes.
And that's kind of how you have to play around these sort of like grindy card advantage mirrors when counter spells are involved. It's like pick your window in which you know you can resolve something that's going to be advantageous and just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot on Patrick's side of the field that'll just tap out to play that blow me out besides like Oko itself. And even then, Oko is not the end all be all in this matchup. And it's certainly very good, but it's not likely something he's just going to tap out for in the first couple turns immediately.
That's fair. Especially, I mean, if you have mana of, because he knows that you play Stubborn now. So if he has like 4 up and you don't have a creature, I can see him then just going for it.
Yeah.
Um,
So he's a Gurmag Angler.
it doesn't.
So he's going to Thought Scour in response, like, okay, you can mill me. I've got Stub in my hand. And Disdainful Stroke. No, it's Stubborn Denial and it's Mystical Dispute.
Okay, I was like, I feel like Disdainful Stroke is not the card you bring in this matchup.
It's I've got enough stuff to cut that it's okay to bring in.
I mean, okay,
like it counters Cryptic Command and Jace, which is
and
just
Gearhulk, but I was like, again, that's 6 cards.
yeah.
So I was like, I feel
It's
like that's
doing more than what Fatal Push is doing.
Oh, you know, hands down. Don't get me wrong. So he has Oko, and he has 2 green sources. So I think going Oko and then have if you try to stub it, he can.
I believe the Angler is still on the stack.
No, because he's.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. He goes for Oko. I'm like, okay, I know he's got Veil in his hand, so
Mystical Dispute. He can go Veil, and you go Stubborn.
Yeah.
But at that point, he's exhausted a lot of resources from you.
So this is on the stack. He's like, all right. Veil. Like, okay, Stub.
Yeah.
All right.
But I say, all right, like if he's able to 2-for-2 you, and like I think you have another Stub in hand. No, it's Watery Grave.
Yeah, well, once, it's fine for me because I've got a threat in play.
Right. I said he just has to find an answer. Like if he finds an answer for the threat, though, then the turns back to his favor.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm kind of tanking on what I want to do while he's tapped out. And my hand is Snapcaster Mage Kolgan's Command, and there's a Snapcaster Mage in my graveyard and a Kolgan's Command in my graveyard. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got basically +4 card advantage, if not more, right here. How do I want to play this out? And I choose to just spend as much mana as possible while I can.
Yeah.
And that's Snapcaster Mage, Kolgan's Command, make him discard a card, return another Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
So the hand is still Snap Kolgan's Command, but I spend 5 mana, get another 2 power in play, get a card out of my opponent's
It looks
hand.
like Patrick just has a Snapcaster fetch land. I don't know what the third card was.
I think he had Abrupt Decay.
Oof. No, it's
No,
Snapcaster Fatal Push.
Okay. Oh yeah, the green card in his hand. He already played it was Veil.
Yeah.
So go in. Snapcaster Mage.
I mean, Thought Scour? Because there's no Drown.
He targets Opt.
Because you have, 5 cards in the bin?
Yeah.
I think I would have targeted Thought Scour because if you draw a Drown the lock, then you can kill Gurmag.
I'm pretty sure this Snapcaster Mage's intentions is to just trade with the other Snapcaster Mage.
He has a Fatal Push in hand. He can just kill the Snapcaster Mage. That's what I'm saying. If he targeted the Thought Scour, he could mill you 2. And then if he off his draw he gets a Drown the lock, he can kill Gurmag, Fatal Push your Snapcaster, and then he has a Snapcaster on board to start beating you with.
Yeah, so he's moving to block after he pushes the Mage. I'm like, okay, be 4 blocks. I want to try to get in as much damage as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Kolgan's Command, the Snapcaster Mage, and then some interesting shit
right?
happens. Yeah, he's Hellbent right now, but he's got Flashback available on his Opt. So I'm Kolgan's Command, return. I think return the Snapcaster Mage,
Yeah, I mean,
just
yeah,
went
you
to the
just,
graveyard.
yeah, you use
Destroy
return
your
value.
Snapcaster
Yeah.
Mage. And he's like, all right, cool. In response, I'm going to fetch for a Mystic Sanctuary. I'm like, all right, let's see where this is going.
Yeah, why would you...
Check it out. This is actually super cool. He says, I'm going to put Veil of Summer on top of my library and then opt into it and cast opt.
Okay.
I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, all right. It's a very heads-up play.
Yeah.
Because then he gets to draw a card from the Veil as well.
Yeah, and he keeps his Snapcaster Mage. I still
He
do get...
doesn't if you block with it.
Yeah, if he...
Oh,
yeah,
he
can
keeps
still
to block, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I still get to get my Snapcaster Mage back, but he doesn't
Yes.
get... it's not like a blowout.
It's
on
like
his
2
side.
land. It's like, yeah, so he's just dead.
Big dead. Super dead.
That's unfortunate. It was a good heads-up play, but it's just, yeah, like, if he didn't find removal for...
Yeah, and we just kind of saw, like, I had the right combination of hand disruption and cheap counter magic to kind of just force through a threat. Once that threat resolves, then the goal becomes either protecting this threat or just trying to miser more advantage over time. And
Yeah.
a lot of
And
that was just like,
There's
okay, well,
the handshake, yeah.
now he's tapped out. Here's my window. Let's just get some more card advantage going on.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine.